It's a brand new American dream for me and you. These West Virginia wildwoods across a world of waste, a garden with no fences and no gates. We're building on the ashes, we're lighting up the towns. Our reclamation day has come around. We're starting over, built something new. We've been a long, long time awaiting, but we made it through. We're starting over, red, white, and blue. It's a brand new American dream for me and you. And like a mushroom cloud we rise and spread over each road and mountain range. New wars to wrangle and new blood to shed. We know that some things never change. We're starting over, build something new. We've been a long, long time awaiting, but we made it through. We're starting over, red, white, and blue. It's a brand new American dream for me and you. It's a brand new American dream for me and you.
Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, or Senstaku, as you might know me on Twitter, the executive producer here, and I just want to thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us that people watch, listen to, and enjoy our shows. If you want to help us keep making these shows as fun and lively as they can be, please join your fellow fans in supporting us at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms or by subscribing to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/finalshowfilms. It really means a lot to us that the amount of you who do support us continue to do so, especially our $25 plus tier supporters on Patreon. Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, Samantha Bates, Maureen Monty, and Bradley Alexander. Every little bit helps, so thank you to all of our patrons and subs. Check us out on Twitter at Final Show Films and on our website at www.finalshowfilms.com for updates, go-live notifications, and more. We love interacting with you, so feel free to tweet at us or email us at finalshowfilms@gmail.com. That being said, please relax and enjoy. Live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again.
We're live and everyone's cameras are in the wrong spots. Damn it.
Okay, Shadows of the Neon. We're starting strong.
Doing it live.
But can they hear us?
Yeah, they can hear us.
Okay.
This is the Werewolf the Apocalypse game that we're running here on Final Show Films. My name is Jack. I am your storyteller for this narrative, and joining me this evening is Craig.
Howdy, I'm Craig. I'm playing Sal Moraro, a Hamid Glasswalker Ragabash.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I am playing Ingvar Ulfsdotter, the Geta Fenris Arun.
And Aaron.
Playing Anya Ambrose. The words have just left. Meta Scalliard Silverfang.
And Holly.
I'm Holly. I'm playing Dakota. She is Lupus Uktana Galliard.
And John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Hakao, the Hamid Silent Strider of the Urge.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Alexandra Core, Metis Phyllodox, Black Cherry.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm not going to make a reference to our in-joke reference to what we were discussing before the call because I don't want us to get in trouble. So I'm playing Aiden Taylor, Hamid Child of Gaia Phyllodox.
And you can insert all the censorship beeps necessary here.
Yes.
But last time we were in Vegas, 2 of the wings of the Mojave Pack met some newcomers to Sin City. Led by a guru calling himself Vincent Black Shadow, the Cold Front Pack apparently originated in the northeast-eastest part of the United States and has been moving steadily westward. Others eventually arrived, but despite some aggressive posturing on both sides, outright violence was avoided, at least for the moment. Leaving the new arrivals to squat in an abandoned church, for what could be more Las Vegas than that, after all, the wings returned to the halfway house cairn for the evening. After a night's rest and some mildly troubling visions, Aiden assembled the pack for a sit-down in Anya's workspace as everybody prepared to share the stories that brought them to both the city and the cairn. Alex and Sal began the tales, and now we return to a pause in the conversation as Ingvar prepares to go on her own history.
So
take it away.
Ingvar sort of leaning against the back of the couch that a couple of people are sitting on, sort of looks down for a moment and looks back up at the rest of the group. All right. Well, first off, my full name is Ingvar Freyja Ulfsdotter. I am the daughter of Ulrich Ulfsson. I am the latest of the lineage of the Iron Wolf, who is supposedly, according to the history that I have been taught, a legendary warrior of the Get from ancient times. As far as anyone knows, this Iron Wolf is supposedly a master of battle and a veteran of countless wars who lived longer than most others of their cairns, despite being an Arun who stayed on the front lines. And that lineage has essentially shaped me from my birth. Being born to the lineage of the Iron Wolf, it was determined that whether or not I would even be a guru, I would be a warrior of the cairn. So from the age that I was able to hold a dagger, I have been in combat training, so 5 or 6. I have been trained to fight and to kill in the name of the Get. She stops to think for a minute as she sort of looks back. To be honest, it's most of everything that I know. I was given basic education on history, mathematics, the equivalent of standard primary schools, but almost all of my time, I spent at least 4 days a week in combat training. That was the minimum. Often, many weeks, it was a full 7. From my first change, as soon as my first change came about, there was a certain pressure that was then added on. I was already expected to be a warrior of the cairn as a member of the Iron Wolf's lineage, but now as the latest of the line of guru of the Iron Wolf, I was now expected to leave a legacy of my own that would be worthy of my ancestor. So Sal makes the commentary of princess. I suppose that is perhaps not inaccurate on the level of expectations that have been placed upon me. I am expected to make a heroic name for myself, to become a legend, I suppose, to carry on the legend of the Iron Wolf. And to that end, I was sent to America with nothing but the clothes on my back and the fang dagger that my father gifted to me. Beyond that, it was shortly after arriving into the States that I became a part of the Valkyria of Freya, of the camps of the Get, mostly because the Valkyria does not have a significant presence back home. Because, to quote the Elder Thunder's Teeth, who is common at the cairns back home, they were not needed. Their presence, while a benefit to the Get as a whole, was not especially demanded in the environments back home, because most were dedicated to our goals, because the Get moves mostly as one. But here, things are different, and I find myself surrounded in a world where the education that I have been given, how to fight and how to kill, is not sufficient. As I stand here in the world of political machinations and people being more interested in arguing with each other than battling the worm, I don't know what else I might offer as far as my story goes.
Do I know what the Valkyria are?
You're
hear you.
not making noise, Jack.
I'm not.
Now
You're very quiet.
Okay, that's weird. Anyway,
It sounds like it's not coming through your microphone.
let me check my settings.
Immediately after we start technical difficulty.
Woo!
Okay.
That's
There
better.
we go.
Now?
There you go.
Yeah, you're
That's
good.
better.
That's
Okay.
glorious.
Apparently something was not plugged in all the way. If you're trying to figure out who the Valkyria are, you can go ahead and give me an intelligence, and you can either make it occult or law if you have either of those.
I'll do law.
I will also roll that.
I'll make an intelligence occult roll.
Oh no. That's a botch. Oh wait,
What
no, it's
difficulty?
not.
Just
I've got a
standard?
7.
Difficulty 6. Yeah, you
Oh,
need to
okay.
re-roll that, Alex.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
had
that would.
wrong.
I mean, if
Give
you
me a
want
sec.
to take that roll, you'd
Just gonna
have
say-
one success.
No, I'll re-roll it. There we go.
One success.
I know something.
I got 3.
Cool.
One success.
Nice. William, why don't you go ahead and give them the rundown of the Valkyria, at least as far as it is from Ingvar's perspective from Iceland.
Like she said, in Iceland, the Valkyria don't have a major presence. Because to quote Thunder's Teeth, the Valkyria don't need to exist as much in Iceland. Because the Valkyria are sort of the Get's Black Furies.
Okay.
They are the female warriors. They are the female equality warriors of the Get. They are the female activists who are there to prove that yes, women are just as valuable as warriors as any of the men. They are there to basically make their value as warriors, regardless of what gender is present, known. They sort of serve a very similar capacity as the Black Furies within the Get.
Cool.
But according to Ingvar and what she said from the story of Thunder's Teeth's recollection, which is apparently a Guru elder from Iceland, is that back home in Iceland, the Get don't care as much about the gender norms as is present in America.
Cool.
Aiden, you would additionally know that part of the other reason that the Valkyria don't really exist as strongly is that a lot of the more traditional Get look down on the camp as a whole.
Yep.
They are seen as, especially by those on the other side of the Atlantic, frequently seen as women who are taking what doesn't need to be an issue and making a mountain out of a molehill.
Yep. It's a very Get response.
Yes. Right. And the idea that, oh, you've got a whole bunch of females basically deciding that equal treatment is a hill to die on. We've got more important hills to die on, and everybody should shut up and get busy doing that.
Yep. That's a thing. That's not what Aiden says. Aiden doesn't say a thing about it.
Yep. Specifically, the Black Furies and the COG, however, tend to be fairly sympathetic to the Valkyria point of view, by and large.
Mm-hmm.
Which you do know that, as Ingvar has established, since she's come to America, she has become part of the Valkyria.
Right.
Yeah.
She was not affiliated with a camp until she came to America, interacted with some Valkyria, and saw the current state of that situation in America, and decided, yes, I need to be part of this camp at the moment.
Why didn't you join a pack? When did you get here? Why didn't you join a pack yet?
Largely because I just continued to travel west until I got here and seemed to stick here.
Does that feel like the whole story to me?
You can make a wits and empathy roll.
I'm definitely empathing since I did it to everybody else.
Difficulty 6. Ingvar, if there's anything you're hiding, that'll be manipulation and subterfuge. Difficulty 6.
She's not hiding anything. She just doesn't know what else she might add to the story because she's trying to remember everything relevant on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 5 successes, 6 if reading emotion applies.
Oh, I got a 1. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, Anya, you're just... Ingvar doesn't exude a ton of emotion in all of this, and so it's difficult to really pick and find anything to latch onto to give you any conclusion one way or the other. Aiden, the main thing that you're picking up on is there is an underlying current of, to an extent, confusion and uncertainty. This is an individual that for much of their life has probably, at least in the moment, known what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfamiliar territory for them to basically sort of be told, all right, now it's your turn to make all the decisions, so figure it out as you go.
I don't know what else I might add, so if anyone has questions, please feel free to ask.
Only question I got is why you sounded so surprised to include the words "style" and "accurate" in the same sentence. And he winks at you.
History.
I could think of a few reasons.
And she genuinely laughs at that. Thank you, Sal, for bringing some levity.
Thanks for telling us everything you went through, and that's a hell of a thing to be carrying around on your shoulders.
What, being told that you need to learn how to kill from the age of 6?
That and everything else, yeah. That's your whole purpose. I mean, we all get a little bit of that as Guru, but that you're some kind of fucking mythic hero.
We're supposed
Don't get me
to be.
wrong, I'm still gonna give you shit, but
I'm supposed to be anyway. I don't exactly know the path to get there.
well, we're all figuring it out one day at a time, right?
I mean, I don't even know anything about the Iron Wolf. No one does, honestly. The Iron Wolf, the legend of the Iron Wolf has grown and changed so much over generations. Their name has been found, forgotten, rediscovered, misremembered. No one even knows who or what they looked like. No one remembers what gender they may have been. They're just some mythic warrior who was insurmountable in battle and lasted longer than everyone else in their generation, despite being a frontline Arun.
It's interesting to me how that narrative device gets circulated amongst popular media. Perhaps their name was Commander Shepard.
Is that an in-universe reference?
That's something Hikau said out loud.
Yes, that's an in-universe
This is something
reference.
that Aiden's doing in character.
Anya is giving a bit of a very secret smile. I always preferred Hawk.
Sal looks at Dakota and Anya and says, "Either you know anything about this Iron Wolf?"
GM.
If you're trying to get information on the Iron Wolf, that would be a intelligence and occult.
If I don't have any occult thoughts, I can't make this roll then?
Technically, no.
What's
Cool.
the difficulty?
I'll try it.
Well, actually, there's a second roll that you might be able to make, given what we've sort of been altering. So it'd be intelligence and occult difficulty 4, or intelligence and etiquette difficulty 7.
I'll try that occult.
I'll try
I'll
the
try
occult roll.
etiquette.
Difficulty
Yeah,
4,
we're
you
going
said?
for etiquette.
Difficulty 4, if you're going occult. Yep.
I know lots of occult things.
0.
Nice.
5 successes.
2.
Right. So Anya and Aiden, you've heard stories. I mean, Ingvar's not wrong. They are a kind of towering legend from Northern Europe. Very little in the way of detail is known. It's been a good couple thousand years since the Iron Wolf was actually supposedly alive at any point.
It could. Oh.
But all of the stories are always a combat juggernaut, a strong arm and a keen mind that were brought to bear with great effect and long honor against the forces of the worm. Hekau, you have heard all of that as well. One of the larger controversies beyond the actual identity of this nameless Arun from the mists of time is how ultimately they ended. The more socially acceptable stories, the ones that are told around campfires with an eye to promoting the accepted values of the Guru Nation as a whole, and the Get specifically always have the Iron Wolf usually falling in battle while killing a dangerous force or opponent, with that sort of fairy tale textbook going out with a huge bang and accomplishing something great while doing so sort of perspective. There are others that might be less concerned with tradition and more concerned with what they would call accuracy, who maintain that the Iron Wolf's legacy most likely ends with age eventually catching up to them and them far outliving the time that their actions are sort of drop out of the stories, but not aging particularly well. If the argument usually being that there's no records of this last battle anywhere outside the stories of the Iron Wolf, and if it's as big a thing as it was put forth to be, then there would be other sources from that. Most likely they simply got old and couldn't carry the battle the way that they used to, and likely didn't contribute significantly later in life in a way that would have continued stories of them off the direct battlefield as well. So there are those who say that they probably had a slightly more ignominious end than their initial career. But again, there's not a ton of verifiable information because it is such an old story.
Either they died in battle or faded into obscurity.
Right.
Sort of the curse of being the best warrior is eventually you get too old to keep fighting and you don't die in battle.
Right.
And you can't do anything else.
Yep.
I don't say any of that information. I just have it tucked away in the back of my head.
Okay.
Well, I could tell the stories. I know many of them, but not. I doubt I know more than would be conveyed to a descendant steeped in the lore.
Maybe you're going to get to tell some new ones real soon.
Perhaps.
And Sal grins at Ingvar and leans back against the desk where he's sitting.
Well, if anyone wants to know anything more, I'll answer any questions. Otherwise, if anyone else wants to go next.
Can I also just say I am a little bit pissed off that your tragic backstory is that you're too awesome?
I'm going to look around and see if Dakota, Anya, or Aiden seem like they're chomping at the bit to go next.
No.
No.
I think it's fair to say no.
Then I will lean forward or stand up and sort of, as I stand up, shrug off the large jacket and backpack that I always wear. While I don't have a particularly troubling story to tell, I have an idea as to what might be of interest to the pack. So, while I am no Galliard, allow me to indulge in a small bit of storytelling. He pulls his sunglasses off so that again the tattoo over his left eye is fully visible, and begins to unbutton the shirt that he's wearing as he talks.
Sal whistles.
Please don't interrupt. And you sort of hear his voice change slip back into his native accent. I was born to a kinfolk named Elena Petrovsky in Macedonia. A single mother, she raised me on my own, away from our people and our pack. We moved around a lot. I was born Valko Petrovsky. I was a interesting young child, in that I talked to the air, and to my imaginary friends. Though at the time I did not know, my imaginary friends were spirits of the air who would bring me bits of information I should not know. The cursed Petrovsky child, obviously causing us some amount of unrest with the various non-kinfolk people we interacted with. We moved around a lot. My first change, which appears to be a subject of interest amongst many of our pack, was an odd one as well. Those of the crescent moon do not undergo their first change in the same manner that many of the rest of our kind do, and in mine it was particularly noteworthy. I did not rage. I remained fully in control. But the elements around me raged instead. There was a massive tornado and wildfire that kicked up during the events of my first change. The elements took on the rage of that change for me. It was in that I met my father, Knub, of the Baba Mountain cairn in Macedonia. I was the only child of Knub, and also the only recent first change in the cairn. Our nomadic nature, meaning that there was not very many left behind in the cairn, which was entirely of the Seekers of the Silent Striders, to have formed a pack with. So I remained packless for most of my life. After my first change, and after training in the ways of the Theurge, my rite of passage was to go into the Umbra and call a spirit so that our fetish maker could bind the spirit to a fetish. While in the Umbra with my teacher, a pack of black spirals attacked the cairn. And at this point, he has fully removed the shirt. And you can see that from the collarbone down, the entire left-hand side of his body is blackened and withered, as if he was scarred and burned by a fire. But it's perfectly asymmetrical, right down the middle of his chest, and continuing on, even though he does not continue undressing, very obviously continuing on down below onto his legs. And you sort of see the drastic difference between his left and right hand sides of this heavy scarring. While in the Umbra and feeling fairly helpless, my youthful arrogance took the next steps into helping my cairn and my people defend themselves, for as I said, we are not many. My teacher stepped sideways back to fight, and left alone, I reached out to the spirits of the Umbra, asking for their aid. And they gave it. I bound to my flesh spirits of pain, spirits of fire, and spirits of wind, and burst back through the Umbra, brimming with energy, burning with power, both literally and metaphysically. With the aid of the spirits, we fought off the black spirals. But also, and he sort of indicates with his left arm, and then raises his left hand up and opens up the eyelid that's tattooed. Inside, it's just burned and scarred meat inside the eye. There is a great cost to deals made in haste, and which I paid with my body, and which, quite frankly, I would be willing to pay again, though understanding the cost. After I recovered as much as I ever would, there was nothing to keep me there, and no service I could provide any longer. My body has been irrevocably damaged by housing spirits of great power without proper precautions taken. And he begins to put his shirt back on and button it. The deeds that I performed there earned me the name Hekau. And he sort of thumbed the amulet that he always wears. This is engraved here, my name. Hekau is a god of magic in our homeland, and such prowess with the spirits is to be rewarded with glory. Though glory, as with many other things, comes at a heavy cost. Ever since then, I have wandered nomadically, serving as a messenger between cairns. I have been many places all over the world, slowly working my way west as best I can. Learning what I can to be of use. I make talents. I would like to someday be powerful enough to make fetishes, but everything must be done in its proper time. For I have on my body the living proof of what happens when you act in haste. As he finishes putting his shirt back on and puts his glasses back on to cover the tattooed eye. As to why I am here, I arrived with a message. I delivered my message. And then Menegwal decided that you lot needed a theurge. So, here I am. And he sort of sits back down into the very comfortable chair.
Do these spirits that you bound to you still remain, or have they left?
No, they were only bound for a short while. They took their price, enacted their promise, and left.
I see. Anya has 0 occult.
Does anyone have any additional questions?
Does it hurt?
The pain is a dull roar, but yes. He turns and sort of directs his glassed gaze towards Ingvar. This is perhaps why I might be overly cautious in certain areas.
And yet, less cautious in others.
He sort of shrugs.
Well, who's up next?
Stares at the entirely quiet pack. Someone please talk.
You're muted, Jack.
I love how the two galliards have just held all.
Hey, I forgot to write this beforehand, so I'm frantically scrambling to write it.
You're good.
I should have done that. I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
wing
just
it.
reviewed my history because it was a lot of history.
You do
Yeah,
have
I was gonna
others.
say, like, I know your histories. Mine is not necessarily longer, but almost as long.
At that, Dakota will go ahead and jump up. I'll go next, if that's okay. I know I've spoken to a few of you about some of my backstory before. I started out as a wolf. I was with my pack one day and we were attacked by a bear and things were not going well. And that's when my change happened. And I was able to take down the bear and I terrified my pack and they abandoned me. And I was kind of left wandering for a day or so. And I was found by a guru family. They took me in. They were part of a small tribe in the desert, about like 15 members. They were the only guru among them, so we had to be kind of secretive. They were Uktena, and they taught me their ways. And I stayed with them for a while until one day I was out hiking with a member of the tribe who was human, and I foolishly slipped, got knocked out, and I kind of shifted in front of them. And after that, I didn't really have much of a choice, and I had to flee to protect the family. I was told about the halfway house by them, that it would be a safe place, and I've been here since.
Sal will go over to her, just like she came up to him after his, and give her kind of like a one-arm side hug and say, "Don't worry, Technicolor, we're not running anywhere, all right?"
Thank you.
Anya is sure to give enough time for anyone who has questions of Dakota to ask them.
Yeah. Do you know what their names are? Do you want to send them a message? Let them.
I know what their names are. I spoke to them before I left. They know I'm okay.
All right. Who's up next then, I suppose?
If Aiden does not...
Aiden just looks over.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I can go. I have story. My story begins with a Homid Garu by the name of Zustov, born with a long and noble lineage that can most succinctly be summarized for the relevant story as Silverfang King of Russia and heritage. This man did not want to marry cousin or second cousin, and there were no kinfolk who were not cousin or second cousin nearby. Then we take our story far to the other end of the world, as it might seem, to a Homid Garu, who by the name of Vayu. Vayu has a long and noble lineage that can most succinctly, for the case of this story, be summarized as an Indian Silverfang. Vayu did not want to marry cousin or brother's second cousin, but there were no Silverfang that were not cousins or brother's second cousin. Both wished to fulfill their responsibilities to Gaia. So, both started to seek out those of lineage acceptable to their tribe, who were not directly kinfolk, but they would be able to raise a child as kinfolk or a member of the nation. And should they have one, someone who would be respectful of their privacy and their busyness. These two found each other. Neither realized for quite some time the other's nature was also of the nation, as they gave each other much privacy when they were not attempting to acquire an heir. I gather that my birth was rather unexpected in such way. As I assume many of you know, Metis are born in our hybrid form. And so it became quickly obvious that my parents needed to communicate better if they were to remain married. And also immediately communicate with members of their administrative. They both needed to apologize quite a bit to a lot of people for being unaware of things. January 27th, 1996 was quite the busy day. But, well, I was not intended. My parents were both very kind and as supportive as they could be. Given that I obviously could not be seen in public, I was primarily raised at my father's summer estate in the northern reaches of Russia. When my mother, who was Arun and thus pack leader, had time, I spent some time at the river of bronze burning camp, and that was her home. I was trained by many tutors employed by my father, kinfolk and guru, that taught me both civilization skills for the mundane world and skills useful for the guru. By the time of my first change, I was an accomplished businesswoman and prepared to pursue my business interests and also my responsibilities as a member of the nation in Campione d'Italia. There is one small problem that was not the problem I previously mentioned. Those of you very versed in celestial signs might be aware that January 27th, 1996 was not the day of a Galliard moon. It was the day of a Philodox moon. As I became a member of my pack and started to pursue that angle of my life in a more direct way, it became very clear to me that I was not a judge, and I would never be a judge, and I was not a Philodox. And with some understanding assistance from a much more seasoned member of my pack, I performed a ritual to correct the error of my birth to be who I knew I was. Obviously, remaining in Campione was not an option. And moving to Macau would apparently have been quite politically complicated. So I moved here to the American Piddle Gambling Center. There may be questions. This is the time where they would be.
At that description of Vegas, Sal looks like the like white man blinking gif. And then begrudgingly says, "That's actually pretty fucking badass. Good for you."
Explains a lot. The Philodox thing.
Yeah.
I should clarify.
I actually
There's a lot
have
of information in there.
I actually have one important question.
Hmm?
How does one become a successful business person before their first change if before their first change they were in Krynos their entire lives?
Well, I can't exactly go out and do business in public now.
That's a fair point, actually, but
The internet is this miraculous thing that is apparently somewhat made of spirits, but that's not the point. And the perks of my accent being more my father's than my mother's is that strange anonymous Russian assistant is an understood thing.
Face swapping technology.
all right.
That was not quite so good when I was little.
I'm just familiar with how the Krynos form mangles speaking the human tongues. So
It does. And admittedly, at that point, I had some access to my father's resources, including someone to make video calls for me, and did most of my business by email, but
fair enough.
Do your parents know? I want to be that person.
I
When
would
you
imagine so. I have spoken to both of them. They are both for Silverfang. Philodox is prestigious. Having heir who is accomplished businesswoman and accomplished Philodox would have been much nicer, especially given that I will not have an heir. But they are both aware of the situation, and even if they disowned me, they have no access to my accounts.
congrats.
Smart.
I do not mean they would. They are nice people, and they have generally been quite supportive.
Yeah, that part was the most Silver Fang thing I ever
Jesus
heard.
Christ.
I might be a menace. I might have permanent antlers, but I'm a goddamn emancipated minor, and don't you forget
Hey,
it.
I'm 23.
I mean, now you are, yes.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I was probably an emancipated minor or whatever the Russian equivalent is when I first changed, but
To be fair, 23 chronologically or biologically?
chronologically, because I was
Okay.
doing the math to do the.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like looking up how quickly Metis aged.
No, that's fair. That's
Yep.
fair.
Yeah, I needed to do math about lunar calendars.
Gotta say, still not a big fan of being yelled at, but does explain a lot of the yelling.
Perhaps listen to content of yells, and you will be yelled at less. Yes, before you get full explanation.
I think we both know that ain't gonna happen.
Yes, but I can still make it very clear that I would prefer it and suggest it.
We
If
can
there
all make
are
everything real
questions
clear.
that are not simply jokes.
You are you? Did your parents stay together? If you don't mind me asking that.
Yes, it would be quite politically ruinous to have a divorce. But they will not
But-
have any more Metis children. They have assured everyone.
Oh, good.
Ah.
Because that sort of reassurance that gets us as a people.
You
real
are
far.
concerned, Aiden. Might I also
Ah.
assure you that the relevant Philodox have made their judgments and all was long ago.
Awesome.
I did not think the children of Gaia were so put out by the idea of Metis occasionally.
No, that's not my concern.
I am confused.
It's I d- Yep.
I think
sure of it.
I
look
think
completely bewildered by that.
I think Aiden is just having certain difficulties processing information.
No. It's you know, you understand how certain tribes and certain groups work from an intellectual level. And then you see it in practice and aneurysms happen. It's fine.
All eyes turn to Aiden. I almost said Hikaru for a second.
Yeah.
I went already.
Aiden, if you would like to go next, or if you need more time to collect yourself from everyone else's stories.
No, I might as well get this the fuck over with. Shit. Okay.
That's a good and healthy way to approach the idea of sharing information with your pack.
Pretty much. Fuck. All right. How does?
I appreciate that, Hakao. Anyway.
So, I think it's important to realize that I'm not gonna try and take you from birth now, because a lot of it's not relevant. So, but
You can
essentially
let us
very
decide
little.
that.
Well, no, let me be clear. Everything before my change isn't relevant. And the reason that I say that is because I am as close to literal as you can be without me not being a clone, a different person than I was then. I was a lost cub. I don't know who my parents were. Person who I don't know who they were, and I wasn't like a lot of people a lot of us who grew up with our parents. I didn't grow up within the nation until I was 21. I didn't know that Guru were anything more than movies and stories. Because whatever happened, I know people know, I don't know the details. I know people from back home where I'm from, which is Portland, not the one that the others are from, the West Coast one. People there are aware of what happened. They wouldn't tell me. Anyway, I ended up in the adoption system and grew up with a very nice family. That's all that's really relevant there. When I had my first change, I was gone through a couple hard things, and was essentially living out on the streets. Got found by somebody who had been supposed to be keeping an eye on me in the first place. But, it's not easy to do that when you end up in that system. They managed to locate me in the middle of my change. Nobody got hurt, nothing like that. Everything was fine. At that point, I started to figure out all of this Guru shit. So I came into things. It's relevant because I came into things not well behind in the race. Knowledge-wise from everybody else. Plus, I didn't go through my change, like I said, until I was 21, not 14, 15, 16. So I was a lot of different kinds of strange. But things went well from there for a bit. I ended up leaving Portland. It sort of was trying to find myself because I didn't know where I came from at that point. I wasn't trying to find that. I was just trying to find what I was going to be from that point. And I ended up I traveled around. I hit a bunch of different places around U.S. specifically. And then I ended up in Denver. Denver was a good place for me. I found a place that kind of really felt like home to me there. I found a pack. We were packed under Eagle. We were called the Heart of Thorns. My alpha was a Shadow Lord, Alexander Drizeta. We had other pack members. We all had mates or partners. And essentially I was the beta of the pack. And we weren't necessarily the most popular pack there because of what we as a group set out to do. We felt, which I know is going to sound a little weird considering that we were led by a Shadow Lord. Alec was a little strange as compared to what most you think of Shadow Lords. And really this was my idea that he took and ran with. So this all sort of came from me, but we wanted to find people who were close to falling to the worm and fix them, pull them back. No matter how close they were, if they hadn't gone all the way. We thought, and we had some success. We did fairly well. We also racked up a ton of enemies for it. We were weak, we were soft, trying to save people who we should be killing, all that. All those arguments. Things were good there for a little while. I actually made it up to Foster, ranked up. And then one night, we were all out. We weren't patrolling. We had our kinfolk with us. We were just out as a pack. We did that a lot. And a group of, we were set upon. It was some planned thing. Group of, I don't know, snipers, something, took out all the kinfolk. The two other members of our pack, Cricket and Annika, they lost it. Alec was hurt. I was trying to, and he told me to go warn the set. My alpha, I did. And then they managed to catch two of the Black Spiral dancers that directly attacked. Nobody knows what happened to the third. It doesn't matter. But at that point, that was, like I said, we weren't popular. That was all that people who were looking for an excuse needed. And it was strongly suggested, which is fine because I knew I couldn't stay there anyways, that I go so that just getting all rank and renown stripped away wasn't the only thing that happened. I came eventually here. And I'm here. And then you all had the misfortune of, there's
Would you
my
do
life.
it? Would you do it again?
I don't know. I really don't. Maybe differently. Maybe not.
You say you were set up. Are they
I don't
still-
know. I don't know what. I mean, so they I would think so. They obviously knew where to find us. They had people shooting at long range. But it could have just been, it was a place we were commonly at.
But you don't think that.
Maybe. I haven't, I left quickly. I didn't do any investigation. It didn't matter at the time. It probably does now, but
If that was the case, would they still be after you?
that's why it might matter now, but I don't know. They could be. I keep an eye out for people who might be coming from Denver. I don't associate with people I used to associate with, whether it was there, whether it was Portland. I didn't really know any of them well, except for the person who found me. I don't think it was her, but I'm not going to take that risk. Not for the people around me.
Was there anybody in particular there that was more vocally opposed to the anti-worm outreach work that you was doing?
I was blissfully not paying attention. Yeah, there were people that grumbled, but Alex sort of shielded a lot of that from us. So you know what I mean.
You got any names of faces you want the rest of us to watch out for from your old Denver crowd?
I can put together a list. Not anyone in particular. Like
maybe all of them then.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you hear of anybody coming from Denver, I try to keep an eye out for that because
they got like a Facebook
I don't trust
group or
fucking
something?
anybody there. No, but Denver's not far from here. The people there are probably moderately known here, especially since I assume. I mean, here's a little way stationy. Just in terms of transportation routes.
Quite a while more.
So it's hard. It's hard to be the equivalent of maybe 6 or 7 steps over, and not have some idea. And it would be weird if they were like, I'm just from nowhere.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you didn't recognize any of our new pals from the other Portland?
No, I don't know any of them. Believe me, when I heard Portland, I immediately perked up, but...
Yeah, you were super calm leading into that particular revelation.
Well, that was because as near as I could tell, 2 of our pack members were about to be attacked by a group of spirals.
They didn't smell like it. At the very least.
Relevant information next time.
I got a question for you, not specifically related to to everything that went down in Denver. But
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about whose blood you all covered with last night when we met up with the Portland crew?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I explained that to everybody else, but not you, I don't think.
You did not explain it well the first time. I thought you were mad at Sal for reasons related to the blood.
No, I was mad at Sal for entirely other reasons.
There was a non-zero amount of us who were concerned it was Sal's blood.
No.
Yes, I was afraid you murdered Sal.
I mean,
That's why I jumped
okay.
on you.
That's fair.
Of course, you're the alpha, but that is a little far.
No. They're litany people. Don't.
No,
Agree.
If I turn up dead, I got a list of suspects, and the boss here ain't on the list so far.
No. That was an entirely different. No, the person that. So, okay, I guess this is relevant information for you. Since I've been here in Vegas, it took me a long time to get to a somewhat better place. Yes, believe it or not, this is me at a better fucking place than I was.
I mean, you seem to have worked hard to make that bar as well, at least in your storytelling, to make that bar as low as it gets.
But I think I've mentioned, like, I've gone back to what I did before. I work as, obviously I can't do in-person work stuff, but I do work over the phone for crisis line. I basically focused on trying to help other people. That's what sort of keeps me somewhat on the level. Part of that is I typically patrol around areas, not areas that the nation needs to worry about necessarily. I mean, they do, but they don't hit that level. Places that are dangerous for humans to go. And I make sure people that make sure those places are safer.
I'm glad
that's what I did that night.
I'm glad your sentence ended there because you started it off talking about a crisis hotline, and I was connecting some very bad dots.
So
wait, no, finish that.
You said being covered in blood was related to you working a crisis hotline. Is where you started it off.
Okay,
I was very concerned about the type of crisis hotline.
I realized I come from a place that is for assisted suicide, but no.
All I'm saying is you need to learn how to better construct your narratives.
So would you go all Batman and whack a guy or what?
I went out. I saw somebody about to do something bad to somebody, and I put 2, 3. I don't know. It was hard to remember. I was pretty angry, but 2 or 3 bullets in the back of his head.
All right. I realize that things have gotten pretty fucking bad if this is coming from me, but given everything that's been going down the last couple days, can we just all kind of as a group agree, like, let's not go off for any one-on-one walkabouts anymore?
I mean, technically Alex and I were together.
Yeah, I mean, that's even that was kind of fucking dicey, but I mean, you all were at least sticking together.
When possible, yeah. At that point, it was either I go out and let my anger out at somebody, or I hurt somebody who doesn't deserve it.
We've got a phone line.
Why didn't you call the crisis hotline?
I have been told that that is a bad thing to ask when someone is in emotional distress. And also because magical wolf anger is not really what they do.
Not that,
That.
crisis line.
All of that.
Our phone line. Why didn't you call one of us?
Points at several entries in the litany.
I don't think that's what Alex was implying.
No. But they could very relevantly be brought up.
Yeah.
You know, for a Philodox.
Yeah. No. A lot of rational reasons. Again, the sort of the key of being, I didn't want anyone around me that I could potentially hurt that didn't deserve it. But honestly, all of that was subconscious. The truth of the fact was I didn't even think about it rationally.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not trying to blame you for things that happened in the past. But you may have picked up on the fact I'm not big on digging into what's already gone by. But I'm just saying, looking for the future, let's try to fucking avoid that.
I mean,
and next time I'll let you pick the place for dinner.
Yeah, that was the fucking problem.
Oh, I know. You're not a fan of pasta.
But what happened?
It does. Sal said something that hit me really in a not good way.
That is fair. We will not ask you to necessarily repeat it, but Sal, as you know what that was, in the future, avoid that.
I'm so
I
glad
have
that's
pull
how
with
that
some
went.
casinos, I do not have pull with police.
Out of character, I swear to God, you were going to say, we're not going to ask you to repeat that. Sal, what was it?
I would not go there.
There's been a lot of that today.
Of course.
Anya would not go there. And just says what was said.
Yeah.
Sal says, look, stripping everything else away, it was essentially what I just fucking said. Let's stick together. You don't need any of us, from those of us who think we can handle ourselves to those of us who have some kind of fucking warrior god destiny. I don't fucking care. We're a pack now. Let's not all go off trying to do our own fucking thing, because that's going to get us in trouble.
You will work on Aiden's storytelling and your deflecting. We can have lessons on communications.
Hey,
Look,
for the record,
you know what?
I'm normally a much better storyteller when it's a story I enjoy fucking telling.
And you know what? I had it up to fucking here with this deflection bullshit. I just told you out of respect for Aiden, I'm not going to say specifically what you said, and you're the one who said you didn't want to know what I was saying. But I told you what I fucking asked him.
This is exactly what I am talking about.
What, me answering your fucking questions? Because that's what I'm doing.
Finding the part of the question that you can get angry about rather than listening to the part of it that was actually important.
The part that I answered was the part that you asked. What did I talk to him about? I talked to him about not going off.
Out of character, that was what the GM said, not what the player said. I asked that you not bring it up to Aiden again, given that we don't really want any more murders. Apologies. I know that you were angry, but it is very difficult if the police start poking around, given New Cairn and...
Look, I realize this is not going to help the situation. This is not going to help assessments of me very well, but I know how to shoot someone in the back of the head in the middle of a crime without getting caught.
I mean, that makes me feel better.
So you blacked out all the cameras on your escape route.
No. The place where we were, I am at least 90% sure that we were camera free.
So you're not 100% sure?
No, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm okay with 90%.
I just sort of direct my gaze to Anastasia.
Also relevant. If they try to find anything about me, they're not going to find me here because my name isn't Aiden fucking Taylor legally.
What's your legal name?
Oh, is that relevant?
Yes. What's your legal name?
Actually, I don't think it's all that relevant.
Isn't that supposed to be quite a rude question?
Yeah,
It
it can be.
It's fine. It's fine. When I joined the nation, I changed my first name. I was born Jason Taylor. Like I said, almost literally a different person.
That is out of character. That is one syllable away from Jason Todd.
I don't know who that is. But okay.
Actually, that's 2 syllables away.
Batman, but
But-
yeah.
Oh. Beautiful.
And also definitely not what I was thinking about when I came up with that name.
Also valid.
Of course, it isn't Nightwing.
No, that's Red Hood.
Yeah. Dick Grayson is Nightwing.
That's right.
Thank you
For a
very
little
much.
while,
Get your
he was
facts
with
straight,
Tentacle
people.
Monster
Come
Nightwing.
on.
Yeah, no, he was the Tentacle Monster Nightwing. Yeah.
Sorry, we won't go any further down that route.
Thank you.
Really important to me.
So what's happening next?
Apparently, we're going
With-
into the battlegrounds.
Yes, what's happening with that?
I mean,
It was vague last night. You went and talked to Hempstead. And then-
mhm. And due to the situation, blah 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 blah, we have been relieved of our position as guardians, which frankly I'm surprised it lasted this long. And somebody remind me, I don't take notes.
We're going to be sent on a
You
spirit
guys have
quest
a
to battlegrounds.
you guys have a prophecy.
Prophecy.
to
Yeah, we have a
interpret.
prophecy, so we're going to Battle Planet. The part of the Feywild.
Yeah.
But I think Hempstead said it would probably be a little while because
Yeah.
there was some indication that research needed to be done as to how to get us there.
And relevant information that I skimmed over because it wasn't in my head at the time. That Aiden is aware of, and the rest of you probably should be as well. Conversation that first changes has been relevant throughout these background sharings. The rest of you should probably know why I don't typically tend to shift further than Glabro in most situations. And let's see if she can shapeshift real quick. Where is my shifting roll? There it is. That's exactly what she did. So she shifts into Krynos, and sort of hunches herself up in the space that she's got.
It's a very pretty Krynos.
Yes, the sort of very classical like romantic fantasy werewolf is present. It does not look like the massive murder machine that you expect to get Krynos to look like. As she sort of stands around the group and sort of looks like she's got the very perfect orangish sheen of fur that matches her hair color when she's in Hamid form. And like the flowing long hair that extends from the rest of her fur, so that she's still got the head of hair.
Anybody who wants to can make a perception primal urge roll at difficulty 8.
If I don't have any dots of Primal Urge, can I make this roll?
Oh yeah, primal urge is I think it's
Talent.
under the
Could I,
talents. So yeah,
Talents you can make
could I
it
make an
perception.
argument for an occult roll of some kind to understand what it looks like when a Krynos is not causing thing?
no.
Not a botch, but no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
also
not
a
rolling
botch,
because
but
I already
it's
know this
terrible.
one.
What difficulty?
Yep.
Just terrible.
Difficulty 8.
So difficulty 10 for me.
One success.
It's not entirely site based, so you can roll at the standard difficulty there.
0 successes.
Okay. Yeah. Dakota, you can pick up that this one probably doesn't cause the sort of delirium that most Krynos do. You can just sense that there's something a little more reality grounded about Ingvar in Krynos.
So out loud, Hekal will say, Ingvar, I did just show you that a spirit blew out my left eye. I'm not good at picking up details. Could you vocalize it, please?
I got 2, if that gives me any more.
Yeah, Sal, you can pick up on that as well. That wolfness inside you reads that, yeah, no, this one is a normal person would probably be terrified, but they're going to remember what they saw, probably.
Well, the Godi back home term it as piercing of the veil. My Krynos form does not incite the irrational fear and memory loss that most Garu's Krynos does in mortals.
I mean, irrational is kind of up for debate, but
it's a very rational fear, but I understand now.
Overbearing is the better way to put it.
It doesn't make people forget and potentially faint just from looking at me.
Hysterical would be the term I use.
It must be a nuance of English I have not grasped. I thought hysterical meant women who masturbate.
No, masturbation was thought to be the cure to hysteria.
English is a quite complicated language. You reuse words and take your words from other places.
It's more commonly the term means that out of control, unable to control one's mental, emotional self at the moment.
Language, young one, is an evolving construct in the mortal world.
Of course.
Sal's just in the background having opened his mouth and then slowly
every evolution because I am insufficient.
But yes. While I am cursed with the Krynos form that can be seen by mortals, I am also blessed with a glabro that does not offend the mortal eye. So I tend to stick to that for most fights, and it tends to be sufficient.
Would you? I meant to ask you. I think you're not the only one of us who's got that particular knack. Ain't that right?
My glabro form is also fairly inoffensive. As I fish out some bit of food and offer and hold it up for Dustbringer.
That actually reminds me. When we got some time, don't mind if I get some nice photo shoots of y'all looking all buff in your glabro forms.
Yes, I mind.
How about you, Eva?
Sure, we can do that at some point.
Why?
Apparently Sal has a fetish.
Red Eye, no, I thought I told you about this. No, it's one of the ways I try to make a little bit of money after some of the more
Choose your next words very carefully.
After some of the more revenue intensive but less legal routes available to me in New York dried up when I left. I found some of the folk who's got those real good looking glabro forms, and I took a picture of him in Hamid and then some pictures of him in glabro, and I used them as like a before and after kind of thing. For a protein shake that I marketed. But Aiden, you're gonna love this. Here's the best part. We took a real 80s new wave approach to the imaging, and you know what I called it? Glam bro.
For this.
Makes it worse. Makes it so much worse.
Sal, if you wish to do this, I can Photoshop for you. You can find random models, and I can Photoshop them very well.
Oh, I appreciate that. See, I never was much good at Photoshop, so I just figured it was easier to find the people with the good-looking Glabro.
Potentially
Ingvar
crime way of doing this.
Ingvar is actually like doubled over the couch laughing.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh. To be clear, are you serious or is this one of your jokes?
Sal pulls out a brochure.
I asked the question again because I don't doubt you would have made up this brochure for a joke.
Jack, because I have been in for a while, do I recognize this person? Or I guess Craig.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's I don't know how much you look at really like shitty protein powder companies that are
No, I mean,
organized
like,
as LLCs.
Would I recognize this person as a local Garu, given that I have been here quite a while?
They wouldn't be local, most likely.
This is something he did back in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or more specifically in Jersey on his visits.
I
back.
mean,
I hold a hand out so I can see this brochure.
I hand it over. So let me see if I understand this. I want the full, complete Picasso of this mind, this equivalent of a monkey fucking a football that you've turned the litany into.
Jack, looking at this brochure, does it actually break the litany?
you would need to roll an intelligence and law
I can-
difficulty.
You have
I'm
person
curious.
I
in
don't have
one
any dots in
form,
law, so I can't do that.
Same person that is
I would like to make that roll. I have lost.
probably recognizably that person in a clearly different form, marketed under a product that uses a Guru specific lexicon term in the name.
What's the
No,
difficulty?
there's an extra M in there.
Oh my!
I'll give the handout to Hakao for the brochure once he's done with it.
I pass it along to Alex and Anya.
I don't want no.
Okay.
What's the difficulty?
Jack, is this something that someone with my dots of computers could replicate in Photoshop?
Give me an intelligence and computer difficulty 6 for that. For those that are attempting to interpret the litany, that's intelligence and law difficulty 7.
Cool.
Is there any bonuses for the Philodox on that? I've always been quite confused about that part.
I don't believe so.
No, I just have lots of dots in it.
4 successes for the intelligence and computers.
You could definitely do this. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty easily.
I will hold off while the lecturing commences.
3
You call this
on
a
the
lecture?
legality.
Perhaps appropriately,
Well,
I got a
I
0
feel like
on my
Alex
intelligence
is
roll.
going to be the one to give a lecture. because
Possibly,
we've
we'll
seen
see.
Alex do things before.
Alex, it flirts really damn close. There are legal camps who would say, depending on how, like, there are very much people who would be Aiden's level of horrified plus at this happening. There are
Probably
others-
Philodoxes.
There are others who would say that, in a sense, the best defense is a good offense. And if you put bullshit shit like this out in public where anybody can pick it up, anybody who gets actually close to the truth is going to be accused of just making shit up from things that everybody knows are fake.
Mm-hmm.
Difficult to say, but because cases could be made both ways for it.
I mean, I'm assuming the camera angle compensates for the height difference.
It's put together with some reasonable organization to make, honestly, it looks more fake than it probably would have been if you had just looked at the raw unedited photos.
It's It's like half a step more realistic than those before and after pictures that are like a flabby white guy and a really fit African American guy.
Those are the best before and after photos.
And the veil shall not be lifted is a key and foundational part of the litany.
Yep.
But it generally is thought to refer primarily toward making sure that the greater body of humanity is not aware of the threat of beyond alpha predators that walk the same streets that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden is going to launch into it. Let me count the number of ways if I was prosecuting this.
But Aiden, on
I
the
could
other
make
hand,
points.
I pull the brochure out of whoever's hand has it.
Alex can have it. I am done.
So how successful have you been at this?
Dakota,
You're
don't-
muted, Craig.
I literally don't know how that happened. I'm usually on top of that. I mean, I got a place here in Vegas.
The more successful it is, the more dangerous and harmful it is.
I'm able to send money back to my folks.
Not mean to.
I was able to get treatment for my little brother.
All great beneficial things that you could literally do less harm to our cause to by robbing banks.
You know, you remember when I said I lost access to some of the less legitimate methods of making it? Anyway, you don't got to worry about that.
Let's see.
I
Let's
thought
start
that
with-
it was the one with the shady
Let's
deal.
start with the obvious one, the veil being lifted. Okay, I could tie a real good case around that. I could also throw in an additional count of taking action that potentially causes a cairn to be violated. If somebody were to find out, come look for you as the person who created all this stuff and walked into a cairn.
Yeah, but it's
And
set
that's
up.
just two.
Well, you don't got to worry about that. It's set up through three separate. The first one's an LLC that's owned by another operating company, and that one is incorporated in a place back in Trenton. So
There
ain't
are
nobody gonna
10-year-olds
contract
that could
them.
hack that
I
within
feel like we've lost
3
the plot
weeks.
here.
Counterpoint!
Yes, I was one of those 10-year-olds. Hello. But, while it does not make this necessarily better, it is worth noting that everything presented here, from a veil perspective, I could do with computer. So, better than otherwise. I do not judge things.
Alex had a counterpoint, apparently.
Oh, I do judge things. It's good. I slap you with the paper.
Slap who?
Sal
Yeah.
tries to grab it.
Who are you?
No.
Who are you slapping with the paper? There's a lot
Sal.
of you in. Okay.
Shall we roll to see if we can grab it?
If you want to.
Contested dexterity and athletics, both difficulty 6.
Lightning
All right.
reflexes.
Lightning reflexes would apply.
Damn you. You're going to do it. Dexterity athletics?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh.
All you have
All
to
you
do
need
is
is
one
one.
success.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why do I only have one athletics? That's wow. Okay.
Yeah, you just rolled a pair of ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
Yep.
Do
No,
not
I
grab
So
I-
it.
yeah, you
thought I had
grab it.
one
You
athletics.
grab. Yeah, Sal, you grab at the brochure, but she yanks it back out of the way.
Sal pulls another one out. Sal pulls another one out of his pocket then,
Right.
and holds it out to Anya and says, "Actually, yeah. I mean, if you want to look at doing a version 2.0 on this, that'd be great."
You
Death
cannot
glare
afford
shot
me.
to
I am
Anya.
only trying to help our judges have all of the information, but it seems that they understand the context.
Counterpoint, Aiden. This is hilarious. But but also
Valid.
stupid.
Valid.
Why did
Valid.
you
Valid counterpoint. Counterpoint to the counterpoint. That doesn't matter because it stops being funny when people die.
How long have you been doing this, Sal?
I mean, it's not really still in production. I was doing it for a little while after a couple of other things I tried after we got the boot out of NYC went down.
Okay.
I mean, it was New York City.
It hasn't
Everybody's
hurt
stupid
anyone
there.
yet.
Yet, contexts have changed. I would
it was-
submit that we've got a couple of wanted people in this pack. Aiden,
We don't need a day.
you.
Hold on. Okay. Fair enough as to your reasons. And everything worked out great. Alex makes an excellent point. We're already like 17. We're about 2 feet in the grave as a group as it is. We don't need to get pushed any further.
Yeah, I mean, just I gotta say, I don't want to derail you there, but it's a hell of a thing hearing that from a guy who went out and shot a guy in the back of the head in the back streets of Vegas last night.
Sal,
Okay.
that's been settled.
This is going to sound really goddamn callous, and I understand that, but it was a human. It doesn't matter as far as the nation is concerned.
I mean, again, it does if you get a police investigation coming back here.
It would, but it's not going to.
I mean, he could say the same thing about his brochures.
I have yet to
Shell shuts his mouth on literally saying that. At this point.
I have yet to hear any actual safeguards you took. Where I took efforts to actively make sure that my face wasn't seen by the witness.
And LLC.
Okay, I was really, really angry, so I didn't perhaps do the most thorough check I could. But I did do what I could to make sure that there were not witnesses of any kind.
He did indicate that he had routed it through several companies, which is as pretty much as clear a safeguard as you could possibly take on this particular sort of endeavor. You were very angry at the time, though, so you might not have heard it.
Aaron.
As the person with actual business experience, and
Yeah.
like not necessarily that shady, but also not so super unshady. Anything I can do, my academic specialty is finance.
I was going to say, yeah, go ahead and give me an intelligence academics. Specialty will probably apply on this one. Difficulty 7.
Cool.
My point.
So specialty applies, that makes it 1 success.
1 success. Honestly, the biggest safeguard here is probably that. I mean, yeah, three businesses is a decent buffer. And honestly, this seems like a pretty small potatoes thing, so nobody's going to want to invest the money that would be necessary to get to the bottom of it, probably as well. Apathy is probably Sal's greatest ally in this whole thing.
Refuge and audacity.
It would be possible, but potentially expensive and a time investment to unravel.
Plus, the purpose of an LLC is to be sued on behalf of the
I
owner.
am not judging.
The safeguards that you take in this situation is not calling it glam, bro.
That is also fair.
Sorry. I'm calm. It's fine. What's done is done.
If you need help
I
calming
would be
down,
more
I can
concerned about this lady's face being very publicly associated with this than I would about company tracing if I were
That's also a valid
asked about
point.
security concerns.
So
It's not.
It's all good.
Sorry.
Everything's fine. There's no crisis here.
that's a lie.
You're right, but I'm trying to move forward.
I am too.
Set aside that for a moment. I did not realize we were also discussing capabilities until Ingvar brought up.
No,
Oh.
that was just a thing about, we had talked a lot about how first changes were important and relevant to a lot of our histories.
I
This
will
is-
not mention then.
This has been true since my first change.
You may wish to shift back, Ingvar. There's not a lot of room in this room.
Yeah, and she'll shift back to Hamid.
Meanwhile, Aiden's over there in the
But-
corner going, "There is no war in Ba Sing Se. There is no war within the walls."
If you need help with that, Aiden, I can help.
No, I am just good. Are
Would it
are
help
we are
to
probably not. Sorry, go ahead.
to do a formal ritual of forgiveness?
That seemed to cover a lot of ground that we have just discussed over the last hour.
Okay.
So which part are you speaking of specifically?
For you and Sal, so that we can move past this.
Oh, you mean no. It's not necessary.
I look over at Sal.
Sal shrugs and says, I mean, as long as I don't piss him off again so much he goes out and kills another guy, I guess we're probably okay.
Okay. Back.
I mean, next time, just punch me in the fucking face or something.
Sal, I need to be clear. It would not have been a punch in the face. And we were in a bar with people, rich, powerful people who probably have their own security there and who the police are actually going to show up for when the rage monster starts killing things.
All right, so for point of clarity, are we talking it would have been a punch in the face because it would have been an actual, honest to God, fight, or because you would have shot me in the back of the head?
Because in that moment, my options were to walk away or give in to frenzy on you.
Sal,
right,
pushing the envelope in this particular instance is probably one of the things you should stop doing.
It's fun. This discussion is fine.
I'm not pushing the envelope here. I'm just trying to find out exactly where,
Yes.
what exactly the problems are. Look, next time we got to have a heart-to-heart. We'll do it somewhere where there's a lot of shit to break.
Probably a good idea.
That's probably smart for all Guru in general.
See, there is things to break here that are not that expensive. But also, I brought us here because it is soundproofed. And so the screaming about potential litany breaking does not bring in other people. Also, no one can interrupt us because I locked all the doors.
Cool. I check my phone.
I'm really glad you waited until now to inform me of that.
They unlock from the inside, just not the outside.
Right. No, for sure.
I am sorry.
No, that's good. That's fine. That said, are we good?
With this part, yeah. Don't we have to decide what's happening next? Where are we going from here? What are the
What's
next
happening
steps?
next
Apparently, we're
is
going to a battleground.
We as a pack are just sort of idling for until we get sent to battlegrounds.
Did
Feel
we
like
ever
there's
want?
a GM hint that just got pinged in Slack or in Roll20.
Oh, I just put that up in case anybody needed to take
Oh.
a look at it.
We should probably be damn well ready.
Do we
Should
want?
ta-
I don't want to spoil anyone here, but the name is it's pretty much on the tin in terms of what it is.
Do we want to take that trip to the firing range that was talked about a long time ago?
I don't think this is firing range. We're going to be Umbra side, and I think probably most of you, unlike me, are not going to have firearms dedicated to you.
Though in battlegrounds it is entirely possible that one might find and utilize firearms that are extant in the battle. It would not be a bad idea for those who are capable of it to have some amount of familiarity with them.
Do you need an ID to go to a firing range?
Isn't there one that is Karen friendly? That
mean,
was my
I don't know.
understanding.
Yeah, I think we discussed that there was
Did we?
one.
Okay.
Vinny's got a selection of firearms available. We just need to
Yes.
find a place to shoot them at.
Got
I think
it.
we had talked about taking them
I'm-
out into the desert.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get into to Vinny's firing range with a 6-pack of Rolling Rock and a pickup truck that's headed out into the Mojave Desert somewhere.
Okay. Okay. Because I would like to go into the desert. I don't know
I mean,
when that talon you gave me, you would have another one.
I just need to go into the Umbra and make one. It doesn't take very long.
Okay.
a firing range trip is basically loading everyone into a vehicle and heading out into the desert with some guns.
If I am going to have to ask, how is this a we all go, or is this a we are going somewhere where those who can be seen in the?
Generally speaking, heading into the desert, we want to find some place secluded enough to shoot guns, so everyone should be able to go.
Yeah.
I think.
It's where they are, it's empty. As far as humans.
Someone's computer made a sound.
No, that was my phone. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
I say we make a fucking day of it.
I'm willing to go if any of you accidentally shoot yourselves. I will indicate back to the story I told as to why I will not be one particularly useful for firing guns or using weapons of mostly any kind.
We can get a little
The
claw to
price
claw, hand to hand practice.
the price I paid is a permanent one, and not one that can be overcome by training.
There.
You will perhaps recall my reluctancy in previous training situations.
I would also like to maybe ask Juniper, or if someone knows someone, get an ID.
Oh, I will know people. I assume, given the nature of my contacts.
Oh, you definitely
I
know
can
people.
get you ID. Do you need drinking ID? Simply like, what do you want on ID?
I don't know how to drive, so you could do that, but if I'm driving, then things have gone terribly wrong.
You want to learn? I mean, we could take the car out in the desert and take a break from shooting.
Yes.
I mean, I know that ain't relevant to this question of what kind of license you get, but
A driver's license. I want something so that if I need to leave here, I can.
Funnily enough, I mentioned about how most of my education was about fighting. Driving a vehicle was not part of that. I am also not as familiar
I
with
can
driving.
drive. I just
I walk everywhere.
you've seen my vehicle. It's limited in the amount of people that it can carry.
Is it on the other side of the road in Iceland?
I actually, as a player, do not know if Iceland drives on the left-hand side. I believe they drive on the right.
I'm not entirely sure. I have not gone on the street in
Anya
Iceland.
will. Whatever vehicle we take, I will need something with tinted windows of great significant margin.
Yeah, you're not.
I
That'd
got
be
that
useful
covered.
too for me. Oh no, they drive on the right side.
Yeah.
Yep, they drive on the
am
right side, same as us.
Typically, quite careful not to leave where I can be seen.
You've seen you've seen the Escalade. Are you comfortable in that? The window's dark enough for you?
Jack,
you've seen. We'll say you've seen his vehicle.
Yeah, I know I've seen it, and I know we've talked about it before. I just wasn't sure, like.
Yeah, it would be
Anya's
dark enough.
perspective.
He has like street illegal tinted windows.
Yeah, that's probably
Of
fine.
course he does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Given that Anya has like limo legal tinted windows on
Right.
most of her.
But answering Alex's question, no, they drive on the right-hand side in Iceland.
There you
Well,
go.
I
Useful
can
skills.
get you driver's license. I would like a loose commitment that you will not attempt to drive with driver's license. You can use for identification purposes, but do not attempt to drive with it until you understand how vehicles work. If you get into crash, that would be bad for all situations.
No, I get that.
Hilariously, I don't have a driver's license, but I do have a passport, which also serves as ID.
I mean, that makes sense. You came from another
I mean,
country.
yeah, I also have a passport.
I have passport is forged because I was not born in a state that could be documented by my
Oh,
government.
Right.
wait. Ingvar, you may be fine because there are, as Mara knows this random fact, some collateral agreements between countries on who can drive where, depending on what country your passport's from. I don't know about Iceland specifically, but
I will look into the details of American driving law, or you can.
I
And
can.
I will be sure to get you license from one of my contacts.
And anybody who wants to brush up on it, if we make a whole day of it, we can do some donuts out in the desert too. So, what about you, Technicolor? You want to try driving a car?
Yes, I really want to try. We're gonna
Oh,
have donuts.
Fuck me.
I have
You know what?
I have replenished my supply
Donuts
of
are-
Gaia's.
No. That is a great idea. We'll do donuts
Hold
while
on.
doing donuts. It's going to
Anya
be great.
will sort of walk behind the desk that Sal is at to sort of the back shelving of this, go into one of the cabinets.
Please
And
tell me you just have Krispy Kreme.
Probably fairly recent, like probably not this day made, but fairly the non-stale at the very least donuts, and place them on the table.
How do you do that?
Are we
It's gonna
done?
take like 5.
Is there
Uh,
anything else we immediately need to discuss at this moment?
Are we
There-
discussing capabilities, or are we leaving that off?
might be helpful.
There is one thing left to discuss. As the person who has removed us from guard duty indicated, there is some manner of prophecy relating to us as a pack. While I don't think we necessarily can 100% accurately determine what it means, it may be helpful for people to think on it and think on what aspects of it might be referencing. If only so that should something untoward jump out of the ground and try to eat us, we might be expecting it.
and also talking about being prepared for things jumping out of the ground and trying to eat us. I also think it's not half a bad idea to talk about capabilities.
Jack,
Yeah.
I realize the difficulty on this is probably somewhere around 11.
Okay.
But what are the odds that Aiden might have heard something about the fourth line? The origin, what that might mean. Because I'm pretty sure I know what that means, but I'm also pretty sure Aiden doesn't, but maybe.
Fourth line in Silverstein's speech.
Yes.
Oh,
Give me an intelligence, and history would be qualified as an academics, I think.
Damn it. Okay. I have
But you could,
academics.
yeah, history and I'm sorry, history and academics, intelligence and academics, difficulty 8.
Jack,
Yeah.
As enigmas is the knowledge specifically related to figuring out puzzles like prophecies,
Mhm.
could I make an intelligence enigmas roll to see how much of this Hakao has pieced together so far?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Hikao's
Hey!
difficulty on this would be 8 as well.
Okay.
That's 2 successes.
You've been mulling over, Aiden, that fourth line.
Mm-hmm.
And
2 successes, 3 if analytical applies.
yeah, analytical would apply.
3.
Given what's been going on and where things have been pointing, you are fairly certain that the serpent in question probably has antlers.
That escapes me. Hold on a second.
Uktena.
Okay, fair.
That's a
Yeah.
There were
deeply
a lot-
confusing thing in this party.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Right.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
Because there were 3 different potential serpents that could.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But your best guess is that the serpent in question refers to Uktena.
Where is the?
So 3 successes on my
Who knows the
puzzling out.
history of the?
Mhm.
Duh.
Hekau, with the glimpse into Alex's history, you're pretty sure that the second line refers to you and her, respectively.
Mhm.
The first line is everybody.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is more or less instructional.
We are looking for a battle when the Uktena were fighting for their lands, where we need to speak to
You
the
don't know
spirits
that
of the
that
land.
second part yet.
Yeah, you
Oh, no,
haven't.
This is
you
not
haven't.
Hakao out loud. This is me.
Yeah, yeah. Hagao, you're
But
still.
we should make sure that players are sharing their information as characters before
Yeah,
we go.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting to see if
Yep.
I get any more.
Obviously, there's going to be there's information that's being brought here, and given the main thing that you're thinking is that the very last line, the weakness there, specifically refers to at least your hope, and with the apparent intent behind this and the circumstances of its arrival, you're hoping that it's weaknesses of the regional administrator specifically.
So, after having voiced that we should talk about it, Hakao will follow up with, I've puzzled out most of the meaning. The cursed pack of the Black Wings is us.
Yeah.
Pack of the Single Eye is referencing to me. Pack of the Blood Moon is referencing to Alex. Seek
All
for a
makes
battle
sense.
long past. We're going to battlegrounds. I'm not certain who the Serpent's children are referring to. There's a lot of different people that could be referring to. But we are looking for a time when they were fighting for their lands. The spirit of the land, the spirit of the barren places, and the fallen warriors themselves should be able to help us piece together some sort of weakness that I am hoping is relevant to the regional administrator.
Jack, can Dakota think back to, if or when the Uktana were fighting for their lands?
You can give me an intelligent. Do you have any dots in academics? Or
I do
enigmas?
not.
Do you have any in enigmas?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to make either of those rolls then, unfortunately.
Is that thing that Silverstein apparently did something with that caused that? Is that what you brought, Hakao? Was that your message?
I delivered a cylinder that contained secrets that I was not privy to.
And we saw the cylinder, right? That was-
I just said a. He just said a cylinder. He didn't say
Yeah,
that
but we
Yeah,
saw
but
a
those who were
cylinder.
present saw one of the elders holding it. Yeah,
Yep.
holding a cylinder which Hekau would have recognized as, yep,
Yeah.
that's what I gave him.
Yep.
We need to talk to somebody with some knowledge of history in this area. Specifically your tribe, Dakota.
Okay.
You think the Serpent's Children refers to the
Yeah.
Uktena?
I mean, it could, like you said, it could be a lot of things. Worm is the serpent. But I'm pretty sure I seem to remember that this is a kind of area. So it's what makes the most sense.
Well,
Well, I would assume that one of you that have been here longer might have an idea of who we could talk to.
I
Think
didn't
of-
make many friends when I arrived. And I didn't try to fix that situation until recently. Actually, I didn't even try to fix it recently. Y'all just showed up.
Can I think of anybody who would fit that description?
Yeah, does Dakota have an idea?
You guys can make intelligence and etiquette rolls, difficulty 7.
Can I make that one as well or not?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for that, and I'm gonna spend willpower because I want to be good at this kind of thing.
7, you said?
Difficulty 9 if I don't have etiquette, right?
No, be up by 1. So difficulty 8 if you don't have etiquette. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's a
I love it.
lot of dice to fail on.
Just 1.
3
But-
I
successes.
didn't botch, but I
Hey.
rolled
Nice, Dakota.
9 dice and not get any successes.
Mm-hmm. So Sal, you know that there's some Uktena that make up part of the Mojave Green sept. As far as who you would go to, your guess would probably be one of 2 people, but you don't know which one of them would be. You know that there's somebody named Wings of Ravens who's Uktena, and you know there's someone named Cat of the Wastes who's Uktena. But those are the only 2 names that are coming to mind for you.
Okay.
Dakota, as an Uktena yourself, when you arrived in Las Vegas, Wings of Ravens was the first one to welcome you, and they are definitely the ranking oldest, wisest Uktena that you've met since you've been to Vegas.
they're also way more on brand for us.
Point of order, crows and ravens 100% do not get along.
It's true.
I was
They
more
fucking hate each
I was
other.
more referring to the bird aspect. Rather
We
than
would get along
cat
better
of the
with a
wastes.
cat. The crows get along better with cats than ravens.
Dakota will mention, I think the best ones to contact are Wings of Raven.
All right. Can you reach out?
I can.
I can do it, but it probably could be better coming from you.
I can do it.
2.
Awesome, thank you.
2
Got their
voices of
number?
the wind.
I can
then.
probably dig it up if you need it.
Does Dakota have their number?
Do they have a
go-
phone?
I was going to
Dakota-
say,
Just got a phone.
Or does she know how to contact?
go ahead and give me just a straight intelligence and etiquette roll, difficulty 6.
Okay. 1 success.
Yeah, you know how to get in touch with them.
Okay. Yeah. I can get in touch with them.
Well then, I have
If you... Go ahead.
some meditating to do, and also some spirits to talk to. If there's nothing else that needs my attention at the moment.
Nah, that's good. I was drinking myself into oblivion to do. So let's go.
Let me know if you actually succeed at that.
I will let you know.
Not for lack of trying.
No, I'll come visit you in the underworld if you do.
And Aiden heads out.
Okay.
I'm just gonna step sideways where I'm at, since we're in the cairn.
I really hope you get trapped at this point, just for the sheer humor factor.
Can I spend a gnosis to activate fetishes rather than rolling?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend a gnosis to activate my mirror shades,
Okay.
and then I'm going to roll to step sideways from where I'm at.
All right. Difficult with the shades activated. I think it's difficulty 5.
Okay. It is -2 difficulty, whatever it would be normally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's 7 here normally.
Do-do-do-do.
So yeah, just and you find yourself in what seems to be a slightly smaller, rough-sided wooden shack. Dirt floor.
Oh, they
Very
have-
simple door in front of you.
The interior
And
has
7 spirals who have been spying on us from the other side of the Umbra, all crowded in Krynos form.
Yeah, you just hear shit over the.
After we just had this discussion about not going places alone.
Yep.
I'm
It's the
in
Umbra
the
with
cairn.
Aiden
hair.
went to his room, which is probably less secure than right next to the cairn heart.
I know.
The slats that make up the roof and the shingling, there's some louvering there, plenty of gaps that are probably at least a good 3-4 inches, couple of cracks between the individual boards that seem to make up the exterior,
Sorry.
and there's a rustling above your head.
The interior of they have interiors now. I would like to inspect the rustling.
Probably about half a dozen cellular bats,
Ah.
all hanging upside down, wings wrapped around themselves.
They're over the Wi-Fi. Got it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
They're having a snooze.
Step outside. I'm gonna call and try to bind a couple of spirits of air, or
Okay.
spirits of the wind to make some voices of the wind. And I do have my spirit ancestry is air. I don't know what that necessarily does for this process, but it's supposed to make it easier.
Yes, I believe it does. Let me check on Spirit Heritage real quick.
It's kind of vague. Yeah.
Yeah. You get to add your Spirit Heritage rating to any social roles. So
one
that
dot.
will
Nice.
increase that, and then rite of summoning, which I would say is oh no, wait, you don't have the rite of summoning. That's
Yeah, I
a
do.
level.
No, I
Oh
don't.
wait, yeah, you
I
do.
have the
Sorry.
right of summoning.
I keep forgetting.
I have the
how-
right of
yeah.
I have the right of summoning and
You can't
binding.
get level 2 gifts until your rank due, but you can definitely get level 2 rights before then. Yep.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. And you don't have to pierce the gauntlet. Okay. Go ahead and roll me Gnosis difficulty 4 with an extra die for your spirit heritage, since you're trying to summon air spirit.
Five successes.
Well, hot damn. A very friendly spirit gaffling, air gaffling, just zips right up to you and starts making little dust devils around your seated position.
And I will have a very friendly conversation with my relative and see if I can put them and others into a couple of stones.
Okay. You'll be then for your rite of binding. Are you spending any gnosis points beyond the required one?
Does anything happen if you... No, I only have one left to spend, so...
Okay. So you spend gnosis, and then you'll be rolling willpower, difficulty 5. These guys are not super strong.
Is the area of the cairn supposed to make it easier to step sideways, or the other way around?
Yes, easier to step sideways in a cairn generally.
2 successes.
2 successes. So yeah, you are able to convince 2 air spirits to get into the talons that you're trying to create.
All right. I will create 2 more Voices of the Wind. When I get done with that, whenever I'm done with that, I'll step back sideways, find Alex, hand both of them to Alex, and then go meditate by the cairn heart.
All right, then. And that is where we're going to take a quick break.
Ooh.
And...
Amnesia, you've got the world on your shoulders. Innocence left you too soon. So young at heart, yet you feel so much older under your favorite full moon. So trust a little time, so to be afraid. Just a little time, gonna make it fade. Your heart is gonna shine and you're gonna make us proud. Send a little light, gonna shine for you. Things will be alright, gonna get you through. Searching for a silver lining on this cloud. Amnesia, you forgot your name. Don't let your spirit fade away. Amnesia, you've been through such pain, but your little heart is growing stronger every day. Hey, don't fade away. Don't fade away. Amnesia, you've got this burden to bear now, hiding away from the world. But deep down behind that disguise that you wear now, I see a lost little girl. So trust your little signs, that you be afraid. Just a little time, gonna make it fade. Your heart is gonna shine and you're gonna make us proud. Send a little light, gonna shine for you. Things will be alright, gonna get you through. Searching for a silver lining on this cloud. Amnesia, you forgot your name. Don't let your spirit fade away. Amnesia, you've been through such pain, but your little heart is growing stronger every day. Hey, don't fade away. Don't fade away. Under your favorite full moon. Under your favorite full moon. Amnesia, you forgot your name. Don't let your spirit fade away. Amnesia, you've been through such pain, but you're growing stronger every day. Amnesia, on your shoulders. Stay. Don't fade away.
I'm dead. He didn't pull his gun out. Weren't they supposed to patch this garbage?
Why won't they get rid of second chance? When I shoot some dude, he should not drop down and break dance. Why won't they get rid of second chance? You'll get fucking teabagged if I see you in that stance. Block shot, automatic drop shot. What kind of shooter rewards you cause you got shot? Block shot, automatic drop shot. What kind of shooter rewards you cause you got shot? Dealing with this bullshit since Call of Duty 4. It drove us nuts in MW2 and World at War. So if you see your teammate scrape his ass across the floor, just drop your balls into his face, belittle him some more. Why won't they get rid of second chance? When I shoot some dude, he should not drop down and break dance. Why won't they get rid of second chance? You'll get fucking teabagged if I see you in that stance. Block shot, automatic drop shot. What kind of shooter rewards you cause you got shot? Block shot, automatic drop shot. What kind of shooter rewards you cause you got shot? Now we all got so crazy when Black Ops hit the shelves. We went and got our hopes up, got way ahead of ourselves. Now every goddamn corner someone's crawling on that crack, leaving skid marks on the map. Strayok, I want my money back. Why won't they get rid of second chance? When I shoot some dude, he should not drop down and break dance. Why won't they get rid of second chance? You'll get fucking teabagged if I see you in that stance.
And we're live.
Welcome back, everyone. So, a cow has stepped sideways and done some spirit business. Once that happened, what was everybody else headed off to do, aside from Aiden, who had announced that he was going to drink himself into a stupor?
And he was
My
not being.
office.
He was not underestimating or underselling that.
Yep, that was definitely his intent.
Dakota's going to contact the Wings of the Raven.
Oh, okay. So, Dakota, you were asked if you knew how to get in touch with Wings of Ravens, and you said yes, answered the affirmative. Because you can always ask Juniper to call somebody for you. That's what you've done ever since you got here, pretty much. And so you go to find her. She is currently showing a quartet of individuals around the cairn. And as she sees you coming, she says, "Oh, and here's Dakota. She's one of the current guardians that you'll be taking over for. Dakota, these are the Boulder Hunters. They're going to be covering the guardianship duties here with your pack headed afield, I guess would be the right term."
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello.
this is. They kind of give you waves. Svetlana,
Dakota's
Josie.
not really her peppy self. She's a little more cold.
I love how
towards
creepy
them.
that sounded.
Eagles Reach, Chris. But yeah, they'll be taking over. So if you guys, Dakota, did you have a question or?
Oh, I need to contact the Wings of, was it Wings of Raven?
Oh, all right. Well, rest of you just go familiarize yourselves with the grounds, and yeah, I'll catch up with you in a few minutes.
Don't trip or fall or have a horrible accident. Bye.
my god.
See ya. There's a few glances shared between the group of the four of them, and then they sort of wander off, kind of towards the northeast corner, sort of opposite side of the compound from where Anya's shed is. Yeah, you needed to talk to Wings. I'll see if I can give him a call. And she pulls out her phone and scrolls through her contacts. Actually, do you want to call? You have a phone now, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess I do.
Okay. Here, let me. I'll type it in for you.
Okay.
And she puts the phone number into your contacts. There you go.
Under what name?
It's just under WOR.
Smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Then she'll go ahead and call them.
Okay. It rings 3 times. And then a voice comes over. It's one that you've heard once or twice previously. And you saw him at the right, or at the moot previous night, but you hadn't spoken to him at all. Hello, Namichian.
Hello. This is Dakota from Wings of the Mojave.
Yes. Juniper told me.
Yes. My pack was wondering if we could talk to you guys.
To our entire pack, or to me?
Out of character, was it the entire pack or just
Whoever might know the most about Uktena history.
So,
Okay.
yeah, they were looking specifically for Uktena history. So, probably just Wings. I mean,
okay?
you also know that he's in a pack. His alpha is Joanna Tarati, the one who's in charge of the entire sept, pretty much. So you don't know if she can just drop everything and get everybody together and meet with you, but you could always ask.
So, probably just Wings.
Probably just you. We're looking for history of the Uktena.
Of course. Well, let me see what I can do.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a charisma and persuasion. Difficulty 7. You get an extra die for being of the same tribe.
Okay.
Charisma.
Is it persuasion or something else?
Expression.
Okay.
I'm doing my new world, old world, and fuck up again.
Okay, you said difficulty 7.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
With 1 extra die.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, okay then.
8 successes.
That's a lot of. There's a few more dice in there than should be. For some
Right,
reason.
but that's enough.
That's
Enough. Yeah, no, it's still doing the 10s explode thing. That's why.
It's weird.
Okay.
Yep. So he apparently turns to examine something. You hear some papers rustling. Your pack is still at the halfway house, yes?
Yes.
Have them assembled to meet me in, say, 1 hour.
At the halfway house?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. I will see you soon, Namichin.
I will see you soon.
And he hangs up the phone.
And Dakota's going to. She doesn't know how group text works.
Oh no.
Oh, wait, no, we have a mental link.
Yes, you do. Who needs group text when you
Right.
can shout in everybody's brains?
Okay. Through the mental link, she will tell everyone that we're gonna meet Wings in 1 hour here, and we all need to like group up.
How long did this take?
This was probably 10, 15 minutes.
Important question. Have the rest of you left my fucking office yet?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ingvar went out to go for a walk, like just around the blocks
Alex
around
would
the
go
city.
with you. Actually.
That makes sense. Alex wants to go explore the city too.
Mhm.
How fucked up can one person who get if that is their specific stated goal?
Go ahead and roll.
Using
You would have had to get back to your room
whatever
first,
present.
right?
That takes all of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You had 8 minutes to get hammered.
Go ahead and
Depend-
roll me
Depending what proof you have.
stamina and
Would you call this primal urge?
no, it's kind of the opposite of primal urge. Actually, because this makes me laugh, roll stamina and empathy.
Do
Difficulty
I want to
6.
succeed or fail? I'm not sure.
5 successes means you're unconscious. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Because I assume he's doing this in breed form, you know.
Now
where
this.
you can,
Oh
where
yes.
you can get
Oh yes.
fucking drunk.
Now here is a question. I realize this may be an odd on the surface, but specialty of reading emotions. Does
Sure,
this
why
help
not?
me? Okay.
Oh God.
Because you know exactly which emotions you're targeting right now.
And what's my diff?
Difficulty 6.
Okay. Nope. I'm just pretty
You're
fuzzy.
You're fuzzy.
Yeah.
There's like 3 B's right here. You know?
Right.
You're fuzzy, and then you shift back to Hamid form, and you're not fuzzy anymore.
I'm in
Oh, wait.
Hamid form.
I was making
Therefore,
Oh,
I'm
wait.
fuzzy.
Yep.
I was making
But
a
yeah.
hair joke.
Yes. I know you know. How long?
1 hour.
Somebody come get me in 45 minutes.
I will.
Yeah, we might want to meet up like a few minutes like before that.
42 minutes.
Also,
I'll retrieve Aiden.
I met the new people that are going to be like the guardians.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Do you want
Fuck
me to
them.
do anything bad to them?
No, yes, no.
Remember that they're the people who are giving us free time.
They're not giving us free time.
Yeah,
They are literally taking
They're
over
not
our
giving us a
duties.
vacation.
They are literally taking over our duties so that we can pursue a lead on dealing with the regional administrator. I feel like some amount of respect is owed.
And they're also moving it. Never mind. No. Just don't do anything.
Okay.
Now, if that's all, I have 42 minutes to get passed out and before somebody wakes me up. So
Anya will arrive on the dot in exactly 42 minutes because it's Anya.
Okay.
Meanwhile, after that, Ingvar looks over at Alex. Let's see what we can find in the city in that time, shall we?
Sure. Go walking.
I assume
Just-
because I succeeded both my rolls, it doesn't take it. I can get that done in less than an hour or an
Yeah,
hour.
you'll be able to get back in time. All right. Yep.
So that's why you punched those guys. I heard rumors.
Yeah. Let's just say that they were looking for a different side of the Gaian imperative,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not interested. And when they didn't shut up about it, I only really have one response to most situations.
Yeah,
Fenris punch.
I mean, you're
I
not wrong.
don't go for that response usually. I find that it has led to more problems, but maybe we can learn from each other
Maybe
or something.
it would be nice. It's just, it's a bit of a jarring experience when your entire life you are told learn to fight because you need to be a great warrior, and then I am arriving here and finding out that my skills as a fighter are not what's going to get me anywhere.
Yeah, I noticed you. Do you go out looking for them? Because you. Sorry, I've been stuck inside and there's not much to do besides people watch. You kept coming back, like, hulked out,
I don't
like
have
every day.
I don't have a lot of control over shifting into Glabro. Well, I can do it intentionally, but it's very easy to. I'm cursed in a couple of ways. It's very easy to set me off and accidentally send me into Glabro. Fortunately, Glabro looks fine, so as long as I don't literally shift in front of a mundane's eyes, it typically doesn't create a problem. But if my emotions run too strongly, I tend to shift into Glabro instinctively.
Maybe. I see why you didn't tell that in the group chat thing.
I honestly didn't say that one because I didn't think of it.
Might have been wise, but I can see why not.
But honestly, it doesn't have to be anything specific. It's embarrassing, but the one time that there was someone who actually struck me as attractive, I very long time ago when I was first reaching the times that that people tend to think about those things, I shifted out of frustration, shall we say.
Ah, I understand that is a thing. Oh. Okay, well, this way there is an orange Julius. You can get orange Julius's, which are pretty good.
Let's find out about those then, shall we?
And eventually we get back to the cairn. That's the halfway house. And Hakao hands me the stones. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, at the as we're meeting up, I press 2 of the same kind of stones in your case. The first one does.
Oh, extra. Thanks. And I will try and use one of them again.
All right.
Gnosis 4 item.
Yep. So
There's
you
a
roll
Gnosis roll for that, right?
Yeah. Gnosis difficulty 4.
Okay.
You can spend Gnosis to activate it.
If you wanted to, yeah.
I
Rather
might
than
just do
rolling,
that
you just
because
spend
I've
it.
got, yeah, I might just do that because
Okay.
that seems smart.
As I recall, you only have 3 dots of Gnosis.
I do, but I'm all full up right now, so might as well. So she crushes it. She probably does this away from anyone else because privacy. This is Alexandra Core. I found a pack we have a new Karen here in Las Vegas. I would love for you to meet them. And I have a lot of questions. Can we meet you on the borders of your range tomorrow? And that'll be the end of the message.
Can I describe the visual
Cool.
effect, Jack, since I designed the
Yeah, go for
it. This is the one that I made.
Do it.
So you crush the stone and mutter the phrase, and it wouldn't matter if you had said it around other people, because as you start talking, the words you're speaking coalesce into a tiny little dust devil.
Ooh.
So like you can't even hear the words you're saying. They just sort of
you
manifest
you hear them
themselves.
form, and then they, as soon as they vanish past your lips, they just like
they manifest into a little dust devil in your palm. And then with the idea of who this was directed towards, it just whisks away. That's a Hakao original.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Trademark Petrovsky.
And she'll probably wait for a second there, just in the off chance she gets an immediate response, but then she'll head over to the rest of the group.
As Zakal told you previously, this does not come with any sort of response option.
Yeah, but if they have a way to respond.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have some innovative talents, crafters up
I
there.
don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They know a lot of things that I don't know, so.
All right. So as the time comes to a close and Aiden is retrieved.
And Jeremy's video blinks, so I have to rearrange everyone.
Sorry,
Oh, no!
I was trying to maximize. I was trying to restore the size, and I clicked the mouse a little bit early.
I've done that. You guys all see the gate squeak open as a relatively battered Ford pickup that has definitely been around as long, probably it's been rolling the roads probably as long as Alex has been breathing, at least. Pulls up into a parking space, and a weathered gentleman wearing a fairly broad-brimmed hat steps out and, seeing the knot of you sort of all gathered around, steps over to greet all of you. He's wearing a leather coat, the kind of a wool lining, blue jeans, work boots. His dark hair is pulled back behind. You can see an amulet of some sort, beaded with a small token at the end, hanging from his neck. His eyes sort of glance around. Light on Dakota. Lifts up a hand. Namichi, this is your pack. I saw you all last night. So, do we stand and talk, or do we find a place to sit and get out of the sun?
I'll look over at, if no one responds, I'll look over at Anya. Sasha, could we use your sound room?
Of course.
I'll indicate that way then.
Yeah, lead there. Notably, anything that was broken among the random knickknacks in the room has been replaced with a duplicate. Anyone who broke them would notice that while they look from a very passable glance like the kind of accessories that would be in a lawyer office. They're all made of very cheap materials.
Easily
Probably
replaced.
were mass produced.
Did we get a name for this individual?
Wings of Ravens.
Wings of Raven.
Is that their name or their pack?
Name.
Wings of Ravens
Name.
was presumably a deed name, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, you're guessing.
Okay. Once we're in the room, doors closed. Wings of Raven.
Yes.
To clarify, I am Hakao, the Crescent Moon. The moot the other day ended with a particularly peculiar speech. Right, Master Silverstein. Call.
Yes.
We've been puzzling over the meaning of it and have determined that for it seems to be indicating the need to find the a ancient battle that potentially your people fought, and specifically the location. We're hoping you might be able to point us in a good direction as to what might be relevant.
That is a good question.
I'll recite the speech again just to refresh it in his mind. Particularly, the Serpent's children we're seeking a battle long past when the Serpent's children fought for their lands. One which would, theoretically, provide us with information on the weaknesses of the... I forget, was the situation was discussed at the moot, right? With the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
In some detail. Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
particularly someplace a battle that would be relevant to the nature and potential revealing of weaknesses of the regional administrator that currently occupies the city.
Well, there are many battles that were fought between the tribes of these lands and the ancestors of your own tribes. It would be difficult to find a part of this land that has not been touched by bloodshed by one or other.
I imagine it would have to be one particularly significant enough to
To
be
the
recreated, both to the Uktena and also to be replayed in the battlegrounds.
Potentially something with involvement of the Weaver.
Potentially.
Well, I have heard the rumors from the Elder that you intend to seek for this lost battle in the Shadow Realm where all battles are fought.
The first two lines fairly intricately detail us as a pack.
I know a bit of the battleground. It has been many years since we set foot there, but when you enter that realm, you will want to do so with a clear mind. The Umbra knows the needs of those who walk through it. It is often quite willing, sometimes frighteningly so, to provide that which you seek. There have been many times that the tribe of me and my sisters and brothers have fought for our lands. Even this state of Nevada holds within its boundaries some places Not much here in this city, though. But if the Cairn Heart Spirit is sending you to look for information, probably the biggest problem will be getting yourself into the battleground. Things have a way of turning up in your face there once you arrive. When you get there to the crossroads, read the sign carefully. It will point you in several directions. You will simply have to choose wisely.
So, to paraphrase, seek and we shall find.
That does seem to be one of the underlying principles of the Umbra.
So, I appreciate your wisdom. I'm sure the rest of my pack does as well, though we we seem to be a bit exhausted from various events.
From the battles that my human and my wolf brothers have fought. There are many that we lost. There are not as many that we won. Do not fall into the trap of feeling like the winning side always shows what it is that you need to learn.
I will wait to see if anybody else in the pack feels the need to ask a question.
If there's a long pause, Wings kind of looks around. Can I have one of those donuts?
Of course.
Dakota will give
Yes,
him like 3.
And Anya will get up and sort of start fiddling and fussing with the decor and not acknowledging,
I think
It's probably not actually that obvious because Anya doesn't emote that much, but
Right.
so. I think that answers the majority of the questions that we had that it is possible
Yeah.
to answer.
That's the thing, is any questions I have are not ones that I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do
Very
thank you
well.
for your time.
Thank you.
I will speak to the elder and see if there are any resources we have to help speed you on your way.
It would be most appreciated.
Thank you.
Anybody who wants to can give me a wits and empathy difficulty 8.
Yeah.
sure.
Why not?
Um,
I will fail this roll.
I'm going to willingly fail that because Anya is really, really not dealing with this.
I'll give it a try. Difficulty 8.
Hey, I got one.
Hero.
I failed that roll.
Does
Not
my
as good as
You botched that roll, sir.
does my cool-headedness specialization for wit supply?
It does not.
3 successes.
4 successes.
Cool. Ingvar, you're just getting that sort of cold sense of judgment and disapproval weighing down on you one
That's
more time.
As is always the case.
Has been frequently the case since you got here. Sal, you're kind of like, why is Anya so distracted about decor and that sort of thing? Everybody else, especially Dakota, this is the most open-minded, non-judgmental interaction you feel like you've had with another
Yep.
guru outside the halfway house possibly since you've gotten to the city.
Just makes Aiden all the more suspicious.
It makes sense that Valko is so confused as to why everyone else is really on edge then. Because it's like, what? I'm confused.
Yeah. But just a very sort of open personality. As he finishes his donut, stands up, kind of wipes his fingers on his jeans.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I'll accompany you back out to your vehicle.
May the spirits watch over you on your wandering. All of you. And he puts his hat back on his head and walks out the door.
I'll walk him back out to his car.
Okay. Yep. Gets in. You can see there's like some groceries sort of leaned up against the inside.
Make use of the trip.
Yep, pretty much.
I understand this mentality.
He just gets in, quietly gives you a wave, and drives away.
And then I'll head back.
Which elder was he referring to?
Presumably the one that's in the same pack as him.
Probably Joanna.
Ah.
Get back. Well, that was enlightening.
I liked him.
I liked him.
Always understood the Umbra to be something of a mentally active place, but the idea that just by thinking about the request we've been given while entering the place might be enough hadn't crossed my mind.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence and occult roll,
Yeah.
Hikal. Difficulty 7 in this case.
I will do that. Does my analytical intelligence specialization apply?
Yeah, not in this case. And what was that, Alex?
Oh, I sent a message to my mentors. They should be aware that we're coming, at least.
It's good. Anything we ought to do to prepare for that? Or?
Jack, question
Yeah.
on that. Is there anything that I would know that like needs to be addressed as far as bringing my pack to see them?
So, unless you get any sort of answer back, you're not entirely sure.
Okay.
You got into their territory,
Yep.
their range or whatever, in the throes of frenzy of your first change.
Yeah.
You got out of their territory by getting completely fucking lost in the Umbra and just popping back up in
Yep.
Las Vegas. You have literally no idea where to go, who to meet, if they got the message.
I don't even know like a direction. Okay.
No, you have no idea
Cool.
where or what any of this is. You are entirely unprepared for anything regarding, I mean,
Okay.
You basically did the equivalent of a 6-year-old sending an email to the White House
Yep.
and saying, hey, can we go to McDonald's tomorrow?
Yep.
I mean, no, I'm not going to say it.
Well, yeah, we may need to do a hike tomorrow, so like bring sunglasses, a lot of water. I don't know exactly which way to go. I don't know if maybe Juniper knows where they are. I could ask her.
As someone who wanders around places where there is no civilization on a regular basis for a living, not knowing where to go is a pretty big hurdle, Alex.
Yeah, I know.
But not insurmountable.
I kind of wasn't really paying attention to which direction I was running. So,
Perhaps you might use the second one to send a message indicating that you would like assistance in getting there.
Yeah.
Jack, I know I primarily have mundane connections, but as a decently social, if not well thought of Silverfang.
Mhm.
Is there any chance I would be aware of or know who to ask about a nearby non-Karen affiliated faction?
Yeah, go ahead and give me intelligence and etiquette difficulty 7 in this case.
Okay. I'm spending a willpower on that.
Okay.
6 successes. I don't have an etiquette specialty, so 6 successes.
Where did the +3 modifier come from?
I'm spending a willpower on that, and you said okay.
Yes. 3 extra dice is New World of Darkness willpower.
Yeah,
This
it's
one just nets you an auto success. Sorry.
I hate these rules. Or more specifically, I hate that they made such similar rule sets.
And then change things
drastically
significantly.
different fundamental
Right.
systems.
Yep. Mhm.
I agree. They should have just stuck with the original and not created the New World of Darkness.
See, but that wouldn't have solved it because Vampire also has slightly different rules, etc., etc.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, re-rolling that.
I just haven't had the opportunity to slag the New World of Darkness lately. So
3 successes.
I took
3
my shot.
successes. Okay. So if you're looking for like out and about kind of things, probably the ones that are known to actually go the furthest out are generally the Sahara Stalkers, which is Silverstein's pack,
Mm-hmm.
and the Grey Moons, which is Hempstead's pack.
All right.
Probably somebody in one of those two would be your best bet.
Anya, well, if we wish to reach out to someone who might be aware of a nearby pack that isn't necessarily a full cairn, Silverstein and Hempstead's packs tend to roam the furthest out.
Let's maybe. I don't know how Hempstead is involved, so let's not do that one.
Yeah, that's maybe not a bad idea.
I support that.
And Anya, you know that you've got the phone number to somebody in Silverstein's pack. Wynn is part of his group.
Wynn, in condition, is one of the members of Silverstein's pack and offered to assist us based on at the moot. Anya would have gotten that sentence much more accurate, but
Yeah.
I don't actually have eidetic memory. Yeah.
So as you guys begin to consider options for your next steps in pursuing your objectives, that is where we will close for the evening.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.